He has been living like a mole this whole time? The sudden voice echoing through the bustling airport lobby made me freeze in my tracks. Standing in my line of sight were my eldest son, Derek, and his wife, Elaine, people I hadn't seen since they left their 3-year-old son, Charlie, with me and moved overseas 16 years ago. Besides me, my grandson Charlie tugged at his suitcase, his face a mix of curiosity and confusion as he glanced up at me. "Charlie, let's keep moving. Where are we going?" Charlie turned to address the question that Elaine, my daughter-in-law, had thrown in our direction. "I'm heading to New York to open my very own art exhibit." They knew nothing, absolutely nothing, about the struggles Charlie had endured and conquered over the last 16 years. I wondered how Derek and Elaine would feel once they learned the truth. The moment of revelation was just around the corner. "My name is Courtney. I live in a small town in Kansas where I've spent my days tending to a modest vegetable garden and enjoying the changing seasons long after my children grew up and left the nest. My eldest son, Derek, built a life for himself in the city where he married Elaine. Together they had Charlie, my first grandchild, who will be turning 3 this year. Charlie was born blind, a reality that hit us all hard when we first learned of it. But to me and my husband, Don, Charlie was a gift, irreplaceable and deeply cherished. Then one day, out of the blue, Derek and Elaine showed up at our doorstep. "Mom, we need to talk about something important." "What's the matter? You look tense. Did something happen?" "Well, you know that Elaine and I both work full-time, and we don't have anyone to watch Charlie during the day. Could you help us out, just while we're at work?" Both of them bowed their heads slightly, their expressions a mix of desperation and hope. I didn't hesitate. If anything, I was overjoyed at the idea of spending more time with my precious grandson. Of course, I'd be happy to help. If it's just during the day, you can count on me. Go ahead and focus on your work. And so began a new chapter in my life, taking care of Charlie during the day. At first, it really was just during the day, but before long, Derek and Elaine began picking Charlie up later and later. "Courtney, have you noticed? Lately, they've been coming in later and later to pick Charlie up. Maybe work is keeping them. Having to work long hours isn't necessarily a bad thing, Dawn." At first, I dismissed it as a sign of their hectic work schedules and didn't think much of it. But as the late pickups became routine, I couldn't shake a growing unease. One night, they were late again. I glanced at the clock. It was already past 10. Charlie had eaten dinner and fallen asleep on the small bed we'd set up for him in the living room. Don, sitting across from me with a deep furrow in his brow, finally broke the silence. "Courtney, we need to talk to them about this tonight." "You're right. I feel the same way." Finally, I heard the sound of their car pulling up. Moments later, Derek and Elaine burst through the front door in a flurry of apologies. "Sorry we're late. Work ran longer than expected." "I'm so sorry. Is Charlie okay?" "Derek, Elaine, sit down. We need to have a conversation." The seriousness in Don's tone made them pause. Reluctantly, they took a seat at the table. "Derek, what's been going on lately? You've been coming later and later. Even on holidays, we end up watching Charlie the whole day. Don't you think that this has come a bit too far? I get that you're busy, but you owe us an explanation." "It's just, work has been crazy. We're doing the best we can, Dad." "If that's the case, why didn't you tell us from the start? We're happy to help with Charlie, but there are limits, Derek. We don't have a choice, Courtney. With both of us working, our time is so limited. We really do appreciate what you're doing, but we just don't have another option." Her words made my frustration bubble up, but I forced myself to stay calm. "If you're grateful, then show us that by keeping us in the loop. We're not just babysitting, you know. Creating a safe and comfortable environment for a blind child is no small feat. But Mom, you and Dad are way more experienced than us. You're better suited to handle all this." "Better suited? This isn't something to compare. Whether you have the experience or not, this is something you, as his parents, are supposed to do. What makes you think you can just push all your responsibilities for your own child onto us? But we don't have the time or the money to manage this. Honestly, we're just not equipped to take care of Charlie the way he needs." Her blunt and heartless words struck me like a blow to the chest, leaving me momentarily breathless. "Not equipped? How can you, as his parents, just give up like that? Charlie needs you. More than anything, he needs his parents in his corner." Derek stayed silent, his head hanging low, while Elaine crossed her arms and stared at the floor. "All right, I understand, but this situation cannot go on like this. If you continue to shirk your responsibilities like this, Don and I will need to reconsider things. Think long and hard about what you need to do for Charlie. He deserves better." That night, Derek and Elaine left with slumped shoulders, a heavy silence hanging in the air. Dawn and I sat together in the dimly lit kitchen, gazing at Charlie's peaceful face as he slept. In that moment, we renewed our vow to protect him, no matter what it took. One afternoon, when they showed up at our home, Charlie in tow, there was something off about the way they carried themselves, a stiffness in their posture that set my nerves on edge. Mom, Dad, we need to talk. It's important. Important? What's going on? Elaine held Charlie's small hand tightly, her eyes cast downward as if avoiding my gaze. Derek hesitated, his eyes darting around the room before he finally spoke. The truth is, we've decided to move overseas. Move overseas? And what about Charlie? What are your plans for him? Well, we were hoping you could keep looking after him. Here, with you. The moment those words left his mouth, I shot up from my seat, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. Wait just a minute. Are you seriously saying you're leaving Charlie behind? How can you make such a selfish decision? We really believe he'll have a better environment with you and Dad. Honestly, with everything we'll have to do to set up a new life abroad, we just can't manage taking care of him. In that moment, the frustrations we'd buried for years came boiling to the surface. Can't manage? Are you telling me you're just going to abandon your responsibility as parents? You haven't done a single thing for Charlie in years. It's not some burden you can just drop off whenever it's convenient. As tension crackled in the air, Charlie's soft, innocent voice interrupted. Grandma, I don't have to go anywhere, right? Hearing that uncertainty in his voice only strengthened our resolve. No, sweetheart, you're not going anywhere. This is your home, always and forever. As the weight of their betrayal settled over us, I knew we had to prepare for an even greater battle ahead. Don stayed silent, but the tension in his clenched jaw and tightened fists betrayed his simmering anger. Are you seriously planning to abandon your responsibility as Charlie's parent? Raising Charlie is your duty. It's not something you can just hand off. We can't do it. We're not cut out to raise a child like him. Her cutting words were like a dagger to my heart, leaving me breathless. A child like him? Is that really how you see Charlie? Charlie is not some burden. He's blind, yes, but he's also a precious part of our family. Not cut out for it? And you think it's okay to just give up as his parent? Do you even realize how important you are to him? Derek remained silent, his shoulders sagging while Elaine averted her gaze, avoiding the weight of our words. All right, but let me be clear. This is not the end of the discussion. If you keep shirking your responsibilities, Don and I will have to reevaluate our involvement. Think hard about what you owed to Charlie. He deserves better from you. That night, Derek and Elaine left, their postures heavy with defeat, the sound of the door closing behind them echoing in the silence. As Don and I gazed at Charlie's peaceful face, the exhaustion of the evening weighed on us. But it also solidified a promise in our hearts. We would protect this boy no matter what. Even after that night, Derek and Elaine showed no signs of changing their behavior. As we continued to care for Charlie, their calls became infrequent, and eventually they stopped altogether. Years passed, and before we knew it, Charlie was old enough to start elementary school. But in our small rural town, the local school lacked the resources to support a child like Charlie. I'm afraid we don't have the resources to accommodate a blind child here. You'll need to handle this on your own. The principal's dismissive tone ignited a deep anger and sadness within me. I understand that teaching a blind child is no easy task. But aren't you educators? Isn't it your mission to ensure every child has a chance to learn? Despite my plea, their attitude remained unchanged. Determined not to give up, we decided to send Charlie to a specialized program in the next town, an hour's drive away. It's going to be a lot of work, Courtney, but what choice do we have? I know, but if this is what Charlie needs to thrive, then we'll make it work. And so began a new routine of driving an hour each way every day to take Charlie to school. Some days were exhausting, but one look at Charlie's bright smile made every effort worthwhile. Grandma, my teacher said I can work with clay at school today. Really? Oh, that's wonderful, sweetheart. For Charlie, working with clay quickly became the highlight of his school day. His teachers were impressed by his work, and sometimes his sculptures were even featured in local exhibitions. One afternoon, when Charlie came home cradling a clay sculpture he'd made, I couldn't hold back my tears. Charlie, this is incredible. I'm so proud of you. You know, I think this boy has something special. He just might grow into a real talent. As I looked at his work, I couldn't help but believe in a bright, boundless future for Charlie. No matter how cold the world could be, Charlie's talent was undeniable, an unyielding flame that would only grow stronger. As Charlie became more absorbed in art, our lives began to regain a sense of color and purpose. Watching him hold crayons or mold clay with unwavering focus brought Dawn and me immense comfort and joy. One day, a particular drawing of Charlie's caught our eye. It was a breathtaking depiction of a sprawling blue sky with a grand cherry tree in full bloom, its branches adorned with countless petals. Dawn, look at this. Look at what Charlie drew. Wow, this is incredible. For a kid his age to create something like this, he's no ordinary boy. The drawing reminded me of an annual art competition held in our town. Dawn, did you know there's an art contest here in town and there's no age limit to enter? People of all ages submit their work to have it showcased for others to see. That sounds perfect for Charlie. Exactly. That cherry tree he drew, it's so beautiful. I'm sure it'll touch people's hearts. I found Charlie sitting at the edge of the garden, gripping his crayons, completely absorbed in his drawing. Charlie, can I talk to you for a moment? What is it? There's an art contest happening here in town. I was thinking maybe we could enter one of your drawings. My drawings? Charlie's face lit up with a mixture of excitement and hesitation. Yes, your drawings are beautiful. I'd love for more people to see your talent. But do you think people will really look at my drawings? Of course they will. Your art has the power to move people's hearts. That's exactly why I think it's worth submitting. All right, if you believe in me, Grandma, I'll do it. Seeing Charlie believe in himself brought me so much joy. I'm really excited for you, Charlie. Let's create something amazing together. Yeah, I'll do my best. With dreams of Charlie's cherry tree touching countless hearts, we embarked on a new challenge together. The process was anything but easy. As Charlie worked on his drawing, he would occasionally pause and ask, Grandma, what should I draw here? Dawn or I would guide his hands and describe in detail the parts he'd already completed, helping him visualize the entire piece. It was tiring at times, but the precious moments spent with Charlie made every challenge feel like a gift. Finally, the day of the contest results arrived. We walked into the town hall, our hearts pounding with anticipation. The room was filled with a soft hum of conversations as families and artists waited anxiously for the announcement. The special award goes to Charlie Evans for his artwork. The moment those words echoed through the room, Dawn and I felt our hearts swell with pride. Tears streamed down my face as I clutched Dawn's arm. Charlie, you did it! I'm so proud of you. Charlie, you're a genius. Keep creating amazing things, son. Yeah, I'm so happy. Everyone got to see my art. Charlie's artwork not only earned him recognition, but also transformed the entire town into his biggest supporters. Winning the special award was just the beginning. Soon, Charlie's artwork was being displayed at local festivals and charity events, garnering even more attention. At his first exhibition, the townspeople gazed at his pieces in awe, marveling at the depth and emotion in his work. Who's the artist behind these amazing drawings? A blind boy created these? That's incredible. Even those who once harbored prejudices about Charlie began to change after seeing the beauty of his work. One day, Charlie's work was featured in the local newspaper. The headline read, "A Blind Boy's Vision of the World," and the article detailed how his art had moved so many people. Dawn, look! Charlie's art made it into the newspaper. Wow, this is incredible. Charlie's become the pride of this town. We carefully cut out the article and framed it, proudly displaying it in the living room. As time went on, the attention surrounding Charlie's artwork grew, with people traveling from distant places to see his pieces. But beneath the surface of all this joy, a quiet anger churned in Dawn's and my hearts, one we couldn't ignore. Derek and Elaine abandoned Charlie. What would they even say if they saw him now? And they probably wouldn't feel much, Courtney. After all, they chose to leave him behind. Time flew by and Charlie turned 19. 16 years had passed since Derek and Elaine left him, and those years felt like both a lifetime and a fleeting moment. The little boy who once clung to my hand had grown into a tall, strong young man. Though he was still blind, Charlie's unparalleled talent and determination had earned him the opportunity of a lifetime, his very own exhibition in New York City. But none of us could have foreseen how Charlie's success would ripple through our family, stirring old conflicts and bringing buried emotions to the surface. Charlie's journey to hosting an exhibition in New York had been paved with a series of serendipitous events and small miracles. It all started with a single painting displayed at a local festival. The painting depicted the cherry tree in our backyard, its delicate blossoms captured in exquisite detail. Charlie had created the piece using the rough texture of the bark, the soft curve of the petals, and the faint scent of spring air as his guide, pouring every ounce of his senses into the canvas. Grandma, is this the right shape for the petals? Yes, it's perfect. The way you've made the petals look like they're floating. No one else could have thought of that. The completed painting depicted pink petals dancing against a vivid blue sky, creating a dreamlike vision that captivated everyone who saw it. A town hall official, moved by the piece, suggested it be the centerpiece of the upcoming spring festival. This isn't just a painting. It feels like Charlie's senses are speaking directly to the viewer's heart. On the day of the festival, Charlie's painting drew the attention of countless visitors, becoming the talk of the event. Who's the artist behind this piece? A blind boy painted this? That's incredible. One visitor, awestruck by the painting, snapped a photo and shared it on social media. And with the caption, "This is the world seen through the heart," the post quickly went viral, catching the eyes of thousands. Among those who saw it was Richard, a renowned American designer with a keen eye for unique talent. This painting has soul. I need to know who the artist is. Richard wasted no time reaching out to our mayor, expressing his desire to meet Charlie. When we first heard the news, we could hardly believe our ears. A world-famous designer wants to meet Charlie? It feels like a dream. But honestly, Charlie has the talent to back it up. A few weeks later, Richard arrived in Kansas and came to visit our home. Charlie, your paintings have a unique blend of warmth and strength that draws people in. The way you see the world without sight offers a perspective that changes how we all view it. Thank you. But I can only paint because my family has always been there to support me. Richard, deeply moved, proposed that Charlie hold an exhibition in New York City. I want the world to see your art, Charlie. The world you create is truly one of a kind. In the days leading up to the trip, we were caught up in a whirlwind of preparation. Little did we know an unexpected reunion at the airport would cast a shadow over this monumental moment in our lives. The airport lobby buzzed with the hum of conversations, travelers moving briskly, their faces lit with excitement and anticipation. Amid the bustling crowd, a voice I hadn't heard in years rang out, stopping me in my tracks. Hey, isn't that Mom? Wait, is that Charlie with her? You're right. I bet he's been a shut-in for all these years, living behind closed doors. Turning around, I saw them, Derek and Elaine, the very people who had abandoned Charlie with us 16 years ago to chase a new life overseas. Elaine had a faint smirk on her face, while Derek stood with his arms crossed, looking almost amused. Beside me, Charlie paused, his hand still clutching the handle of his suitcase, tilting his head up toward me with a curious expression. Grandma, what's wrong? It's nothing, Charlie. Let's keep moving. But Derek stepped forward, his voice stopping us in our tracks. Charlie, where are you heading? I'm leaving to New York to open my very own art exhibition. At those words, Derek and Elaine's smug expressions froze, replaced by disbelief. Wait a minute, an exhibition? New York? You're telling me that blind Charlie paints? And not just that, but he's having an exhibition in New York? That can't be real. Hearing their mix of shock and skepticism, I responded in a calm but firm tone. Well, if you had bothered to ask after him over the years, you would know yourself whether it's real or not. It's not for you to decide at this point. Charlie has come this far through his own hard work and talent. But yes, he's opening an exhibition in New York. Derek furrowed his brow in confusion, while Elaine folded her arms again, her smirk returning. This has to be some kind of joke. You're probably just exaggerating, right? If you don't want to believe it, that's your choice. But Charlie paints a world that no one else could, relying on his touch and memory to create something truly unique. My words made Derek look away, while Elaine let out a faint, dismissive laugh through her nose. We didn't even know that Charlie was painting. He's probably just being spoiled by his grandparents and treated like some special case. Their cruel words lit a fire in my chest, but I refused to let it show. Special treatment? You're right about one thing. He is special. Charlie isn't like other kids. But he's never let being blind hold him back. He's worked harder than you could imagine to get this far. With that, I gripped Charlie's hand a little tighter and turned to walk away. But this encounter was only the beginning of the storm to come. A few days later, out of the blue, we received a phone call from Derek that he wanted to come see us. Mom, Dad, we need to talk. What's this about? Is it about Charlie? Yeah, it's about Charlie. Elaine and I have been thinking, and we want to take him back. At those words, Don's face hardened instantly, his calm demeanor giving way to visible tension. Take him back? After all these years, what are you even talking about? We've realized it's time to step up and fulfill our responsibilities as his parents. Charlie is our son, and it's only right that we take care of him. On the surface, his words seemed noble, a father finally waking up to his duties. But the true motive behind his sudden change of heart was painfully obvious to us. And when exactly did you decide that you should take Charlie back? You haven't reached out in 16 years, and now you want to act like parents? Well, there were circumstances. Things were complicated. At that moment, Dawn and I were certain of their true intentions. It was clear. They saw Charlie's success as an opportunity to benefit themselves financially. Responsibility? Don't make me laugh. 16 years ago, you left Charlie behind for your own convenience, and since then, you've done nothing, absolutely nothing, to take responsibility as parents. And now, when Charlie is on the brink of success, you come crawling back? Don't you have any shame? Derek fell silent, his lips pressing into a thin line, while Elaine avoided eye contact altogether. Still, they refused to back down. A few days later, we found ourselves confronted with something far worse. Derek and Elaine had begun spreading lies to the media, painting us as villains. Accusations that we forcibly separating a child from his parents were causing quite a stir. They went so far as to say that we stubbornly refused to allow the parents to reconnect with their son. On TV and online, we were being portrayed as cruel grandparents who had torn a family apart. Everywhere we went, strangers stared at us with judgment in their eyes, and some even muttered cruel remarks under their breath. Though we had done nothing wrong, we faced constant condemnation from the public. What are we supposed to do, Courtney? How do we stop their lies? If we stay silent, they'll drag Charlie into this mess. We can't let their lies go unanswered any longer. With heavy hearts, Dawn and I made up our minds. It was time to fight back. We decided it was time to take legal action. With our lawyer's help, we began compiling every piece of evidence from 16 years ago proving how Derek and Elaine had abandoned Charlie. If we gather documents and testimony to confirm what happened back then, we can dismantle Derek and Elaine's claims. The people of our town, who had witnessed the truth over the years, rallied to our side and began exposing Derek and Elaine's lies. We saw it all when Charlie was left behind. We've watched his grandparents raise him with love and care. Derek and Elaine haven't shown any interest in Charlie for 16 years. Their testimonies became a powerful force for us. It was also revealed that Derek and Elaine had misused the financial support meant for Charlie, spending it on their own luxuries instead of passing it along to us. So all their talk about doing something for Charlie was a lie. I had a feeling, but now their hypocrisy is out in the open. When the trial began, Derek and Elaine's false statements were systematically dismantled. Let's start with this. Why didn't you contact Charlie even once during those 16 years? Well, that's because, Derek stammered, unable to come up with an answer. There were circumstances. We were struggling to make ends meet. Struggling financially. Is that so? Then how do you explain using the monthly financial support intended for Charlie on luxury goods and vacations? The courtroom buzzed at the lawyer's pointed question. So they embezzled the money meant for their son. They're truly awful parents. It's just, at the time, we really needed the money. And yet the records show the money wasn't used for rent or medical expenses, but rather for high-end fashion and leisure trips. Care to explain? As the weight of the evidence mounted, Elaine turned red with shame and lowered her head. In the end, the court dismissed Derek and Elaine's claims entirely, and our family's name was cleared. The court rules in favor for the plaintiffs. The defendants are ordered to issue a formal retraction and pay damages for defamation. As the judge's ruling was announced, the atmosphere in the courtroom shifted completely. That's exactly the outcome they deserve. What an incredible family. They've been through so much. As Derek and Elaine left the courthouse, they were surrounded by a flurry of reporters. What's your response to abandoning Charlie for 16 years? Care to comment on falsely claiming your son was deceased? They said nothing, hiding their faces as they hurried away. After the trial, their lies and irresponsibility became public knowledge, and they lost what little social credibility they had left. Even at their respective workplaces, the falsehoods they had told under the guise of family issues came to light. When they said family issues, they meant abandoning their blind son. So it was all lies. Ugh, unbelievable. Stripped of any trust at work, both Derek and Elaine were unceremoniously fired. Elaine's own parents, furious and humiliated, severed ties with her entirely. You used the money we sent for Charlie on your own luxuries? I'll never be able to forgive that. You're no longer our daughter. Cast out by her family, Elaine, along with Derek, found themselves without a place to turn. Mounting debts began to consume their lives. Everywhere they went, judgmental stares and whispers followed them, pushing them further into isolation. Aren't they the ones who abandoned their blind son? A total disgrace. How do they even show their faces? Unable to maintain their former lifestyle, Derek and Elaine were forced to move into a rundown apartment on the outskirts of town. Elaine spent her nights weeping, rambling about their circumstances, while Derek spiraled into a volatile mix of anger and helplessness. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It's not even our fault. Just stop, Elaine. Just admit it. It's all on us, alright? Yet even in their misery, they never once uttered an apology. Meanwhile, Charlie's exhibition in New York was a resounding success, and upon his return, the media's interest in his work only grew. His story became a symbol of perseverance and unconditional love, inspiring countless people. Grandpa, Grandma, thank you. I want to keep painting like this even more. Charlie, your future is just beginning, and you bet that we'll always be by our side. Watching Derek and Elaine crumble under the weight of their own lives brought us a deep sense of relief. But more than anything, it was Charlie's blossoming talent and unshakable strength that brought us the greatest peace. It was a moment of triumph for truth and love within our family. With the trial behind us, life finally seemed to settle into a peaceful rhythm. Derek and Elaine faded from our lives, and our focus returned to the everyday joys of supporting Charlie. In the months following his triumphant New York exhibition, Charlie threw himself into even more art projects, his passion for creating growing stronger by the day. Requests poured in from galleries both at home and abroad, each eager to showcase his unique perspective. Grandma, I want to try painting not just what I feel with my hands, but what I hear. I want to capture the world through sound. That sounds amazing, Charlie. If anyone can do it, it's you. His latest project focused on translating the sounds of nature and the bustling cityscape into vivid, textured art. Our home, once a quiet haven, buzzed with energy and excitement as Charlie's dreams continued to unfold. The people of our town celebrated Charlie's success as if it were their own. Charlie's incredible. He really might become an artist who changes the world. Watching him makes me believe I can overcome anything too. Charlie's influence extended far beyond our little town, touching the hearts of countless people around the world. Every so often, we would hear whispers of what had become of Derek and Elaine. It seemed they were drowning in debt, living a life far removed from the luxurious one they had once flaunted. But we had no desire to pursue them or dwell on thoughts of revenge. All that mattered to us was Charlie's future and his happiness. By the time Charlie turned 21, he had relocated to Italy and was traveling the world, showcasing his art and giving talks about his journey. No matter where he went, he never forgot to express gratitude for his family. The reason I've made it this far is because of my grandparents. They believed in me when no one else did. His words moved audiences everywhere, reminding them of the importance of family bonds. As for Dawn and me, we found joy in a quieter life, proud of all Charlie had achieved. Courtney, we've truly been blessed, haven't we? We have. Charlie is and always will be our greatest pride. No matter the pain we had endured in the past, we had learned that love and perseverance could light the way to a brighter future. Just like the vibrant worlds Charlie painted, our lives too were filled with vivid, beautiful colors.